What would Robert Templeton do different if he had to start over at 20 years old? Hello, and welcome to the My Father Said podcast, where we discuss all things faith, finance, and family. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan. I'm both a father and a son.
Hey, everybody. I'm Robert, his dad.
And he's also a son as well. And today, we wanted to do a podcast specific to Dad. So, Dad, being 61 years old, has got a lot of years of wisdom. He's been working a long time. He's been accumulating wealth for a long time. Knowing what he knows now, what would he do different, or what would he do the same if he woke up tomorrow as a 20-year-old Robert, but still had all the knowledge that he has today? And so before we get into the questions, Dad, what was life like back at 20 years old? What were you doing? What was going on in your life?
Well, at age 20, I was not married yet. I was not even dating your mom.
Did you even know who Mom was?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did. I would think that at age 20, I was living the song by Bon Jovi, Working for the Weekend. I think, but my weekend was 7 nights a week. So looking at the future was only as far as the evening after I got off work and how much money was in my bill folder. That was probably as far as I looked into the future at age 20, if I reflect on that correctly. I think.
All right. So you were having a good time at 20.
Well, let's just say that my motivation wasn't on the future. My motivation was on living it up, having a real good, what I thought was a real good time.
All right. So at 20, that's what you were doing. That's how you were spending your time. What were you doing for work if you were working at 20?
I was working in a manufacturing facility. I forget what role I was doing because I had several roles in that company. But I was in a manufacturing facility, not ambitious at all, not really focused on anything other than just getting up, getting a paycheck, making a car payment, and that's probably about it. I hate to make it sound so uneventful, but that was the story of my work life back then. I can't really say there was anything ambitious about it. It's just, it was a pretty just standard get up, go to work at 6 in the morning, work until 4 in the afternoon, and go out and stay up a wee hours of the morning and start the next day doing the same thing again. And yeah, it was nothing fantastic, I would say.
So you said you were making car payments. So was this the Camaro or was this something else?
It would have been the Camaro. It would have been my little truck that I had for a while. It's just stuff. I was making, I think, $200 a week, bring home pay, and that was a lot of money back in whatever year that was, but that was a lot of money. It was more money. I had left, I was working at a grocery store prior to that, and I was bringing home like $80 a week.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, so I went from $80 a week to $200 a week, and I had won the employment lottery, so I thought. So that's, I was just living it up. No responsibilities, no one to answer to, and mom washed my clothes. She made my meals, and all I did was just go out and sow wild oats, I guess is the best way to say that.
At 20, were you still living with Granny and Papa?
Yep. Yeah, I lived with Mom and Daddy all the way up to the day that I got married.
Which was what age?
25.
25. Mm-hmm. All right. 25, got married. So single, Camaro, working. At this point, you did not have a relationship with the Lord, correct? When did that come?
After marriage.
So sometime after 25. Okay.
Yeah, it's after marriage.
So you had a while.
Yeah, after marriage. I didn't have one of those shining light moments I hear people talk about where it happened instantaneously. Mine was more of a come to Jesus occurrence where I began being exposed to things of the gospel and looking at it from a distance, and then stepping in a little bit closer and stepping in a little bit closer, and then next thing I know, it grabbed me by my neck and never let me go. So, I hear these people who talk about, yesterday I was a sinner, today I'm completely free of everything. I'm not sure exactly that's how it works. That's why in Luke 9:23, when Jesus says, if anyone is to come after me, he's got to take up his cross. He doesn't say weekly, monthly, or one time. He says daily. So I do believe that now salvation is instantaneous. Sanctification is a journey, and I guess that's what I'm talking about. The sanctification part of it is a daily walk. The salvation is once and done. I'm one of those that believes once saved, always saved, because I can only show you several dozen passages in Scripture where it actually says that. Not those words, but it says that. So, anyway, I'm not sure you were going there, but
well, I mean that answered it. So 20 years old, you are just a hellion, running from the Lord, working
for the weekend.
Working for the weekend. Did not know mom. Well, you knew mom, but weren't dating mom. Didn't have a relationship with her.
Yeah, your mom was dating a break dancer at the time. Yeah.
Scott, you think that's funny?
What's happened?
You had to go get water.
Gosh. I wonder if Scott ever broke dance.
Break dancer. All right. So where is said break dancer today? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't know. He's probably out somewhere sad because I captured the best thing that he ever had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Okay. Yeah. So that's where you were at 20. Now today, you are a very well-to-do business owner. You are a Baptist minister. You are a father and about to be a 4-time grandfather any day now. Very well. You've accumulated some wealth. You're debt-free. That's a very different place than where you were when you were 20, obviously. So knowing where you were at 20 years old, what would you do different? And I know that's kind of a broad question, so we'll kind of narrow it down a little bit, but let's talk with the work situation. If you had to start over at 20 years old, knowing what you know today, what would work look like? Would you be in the same place? Would you be doing something different?
At 20 years old?
20 years old, knowing what you know now.
Well, the most important thing that time has taught me is that you're never going to rise above the level of who you allow to influence you. So if I'm hanging around with people who, like me, were only working for the weekend, then that's pretty much going to be the mark of my life. If I could go back in time and tell 20-year-old Robert something, it would be, son, take a look at where you are, and is this what you want? I would force Robert to envision his future. What is it that Robert wanted to accomplish? Now, at 20 years old, Robert probably didn't have a clue. But I would have Robert begin to dream. What is it that you want? And then I would hope that I had enough sense to recognize then if I want that and I'm not currently there, I would take the steps to begin to prepare myself to be able to get there, whatever that might look like. Now, I got lucky, I really did. I got lucky. There was a gentleman crossed in my life. He was one of my managers at the time. He was very high up in the company. His name was Roger Leon. Roger didn't have a lot of people like him. Roger was pretty much, what he said is what he meant, and what he meant is what he said, and he'd smile at you, talk to you, be your friend, but the minute you didn't do what he told you to do, you pretty much you can see that your future there is going to be short. But for whatever reason, Roger took a interest in me, and it all started one day just talking about the 401ks, because the 401ks had just become a thing in companies, and everybody was signing up, and I fell for the old usual trap of you need to put so much percent here, there, and there, what we call allocation. And so I had, at age 20, I had 20% of my money going to cash, 20% of my money going to government bonds, and Roger just kind of looked at it and said, "No, you don't do this." And he was able to, in a span of 3 minutes, explain to me how I should do my money at age 20, why I should do my money that way, and I understood it perfectly. And from that standpoint, I would say that if anybody in my life ever got me started in the right direction, it was Roger Leon.
Really?
Yeah. So now he's gone. I understand he's somewhere else in the country right now, and I think he's retired. But I will always owe a gratitude, a debt to him for taking interest in me. And so what I've done today to return that favor is I find individuals who I look at and I say, you know what, I think they're underachieving. And I will try to speak influence in their life. I mean, that's one of the reasons why we wrote that book. But I would try to speak influence in their lives so that they perhaps would see something or hear something that would light that flame.
Yeah.
And they would move forward. So, Lord, I done forgot your question. I've been rambling on so long here now.
No, you answered it. So the first thing was like what would you do work wise? And your first answer wasn't even work related. It was basically get a hold of Robert and have a conversation, figure out where he wants to go.
Yeah. Because the thing about it is in our world, it's interesting how Saturday repeats itself every 7 days. Mm-hmm. Wednesday repeats itself every 7 days. We are habits. We're like a hamster on that round wheel in that little square box. And we just keep spinning and running and spinning and running and never going anywhere. And before we realize it, we would have started at that job at age 18, which is what I did. And I stayed in that job until age, age 31, 32.
And then that's when you went over to Waddell and Reed, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's when I got fired from that job after 13 years of being their employed slave, because that's pretty much how they treated you. After being their employed slave, I got fired unceremoniously on a Monday. No, sorry, it was on a Tuesday. Got fired. That was 1 week before my birthday. And I remember after I got fired, they sent me a happy birthday card.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, bunch of peckerheads. Anyway, I mean, they didn't even know they fired me.
Yeah.
That's how big the company was. I mean, it's no fault of theirs. It's just automation stuff. But still, I'm thinking, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
But so I got fired, and that's when I sit down with your mom and I said, you know what, I grew up on the farm, working on the farm every summer. I loved being outside, and I did not want to be back inside of a plant. When I got there, it was dark, and when I left, it was dark. No windows to look out of, so to speak of, and everybody there, you could look at their faces. It was truly the definition of a job. It wasn't a career. It was a job.
Yeah.
And so, but the most important thing I guess I got out of that time frame in my life is the importance of surrounding yourself with people who are going to challenge you to be the best you that you can be.
Right.
And my introduction to Roger was the beginning of that. So I'd say if I could go back in time, I would find several Rogers and let them speak influence in my life.
Yeah. Now you made a mention when you were 20, you were already participating in the 401k, but Roger really helped you to dial that in. Going back, would you have started in the 401k at 20 years old?
Yeah, I mean, I had enough sense to recognize that somebody was going around hollering something about free money. And free is like the same thing as like not costing you anything. All right. I thought, hey, I can do this. Yeah, I'm going to put in $1 and you're going to put in $1? Absolutely. Let's do this. I'd put my whole check in there if they'd let me. But I mean, I wasn't the brightest person around, but I was smart enough to recognize that free money was good.
Yeah.
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 I think today they call it welfare.
So going back to the work stuff. So you started at the company at 18. So you're 20 years old now. You're still working at AYP. You didn't make the transition to Waddell and Reed until you were in your 30s.
Right.
Looking back on it, would you, knowing what you know now, would you have stayed at AYP that long? Would you have left early to do finance, or would you have gotten into a completely different industry?
Well, I'm not sure that's a fair question because I have I had the privilege of seeing life today and saying, well, you know, this has turned out pretty good. I guess if I was smart, well, I can't even say that. Probably if I could do it over again, I would have found this career sooner. And I would have done this because this career is great. I mean, this career has been able to provide myself a life that I never ever thought that I would ever enjoy. I mean, I'm not Michael Jordan wealthy by any means, and Michael Jordan doesn't even know I exist. But I don't want for anything, and you know, your mom and I, we live very quiet lives. I guess is the best way to say that. We live quiet lives. We're not loud and flashy like some people are, and you know, if that's what they want to do, that's fine. But we live very quiet lives when it comes to how we conduct ourselves monetarily. All right, so you know, we're okay.
Yeah,
we're good.
Okay. Let me ask you this. If you were starting over, knowing what you know about business, knowing what you know about the market, if you had not a penny to your name, what would you do for to get your first $100,000? Because I think it was Warren Buffett said, yeah, of all the money he's ever made, the first 100,000 was the hardest. So what would you do to get that number?
Begin. You got to begin. I mean, you got to figure out where you're at, which by your description there is nothing. We live in America. I hear these people out there whining and complaining and griping about how bad we've got it here. I wish these people could go overseas, go stand up in China, communist China, and see how bad they've got it compared to how good we have it. I wish they could go to some of the places I've been and just see what poverty looks like. Because this country America is, as far as opportunity, is second to none. Mm-hmm. Now, the ethics, the morale, the stuff that this country has become. I was listening to Vince Everett Ellison this morning, and for those of you out there who don't know who Vince Everett Ellison is, I encourage you to listen to him because he is a podcaster, has his own YouTube program, African American, well spoken, and he speaks about the evils of society. I'll leave it at that. You can go listen to it beyond that. And it's pretty interesting, but he even pointed out that, how the things in this society now, how people act and behave when it comes to what they think they're entitled to, what they think they're owed. He basically tells them to shut up, get off your behind, and go get a job. Nobody owes you squat.
Yeah.
And that's my kind of guy. I mean, nobody owes me nothing. And frankly, the only person I owe anything to is I answer to my wife, I answer to my family, and I owe my Lord everything. Beyond that, I don't owe anybody squat.
Right.
And that's the way, and nobody owes me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's the way it should be. But here in this country that we're in America, people can complain about this place, but this is the greatest opportunity in the world. I mean, it's the greatest opportunity. You probably have professional entertainers who can barely read or write that are making fortunes hand over fist. All right, you probably got actors that, if they had to work in the real world with the rest of us slups, they wouldn't last 3 days. So a lot of this is very fortunate. I remember I did an interview with the drummer of Hootie and the Blowfish. I think it's Mike Sonyfield. I can't remember his name, but I used to write articles for a magazine, and I had an interview with him, and I asked him the story. I said, "Bo, how in the world did Hootie go from playing down here at Rockefeller's to doing what you're doing now?" And he made the comment. He said, "Bo," he said, "right place, right time."
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's what he said. That was his secret to their success. And those guys, they've gone on to I think have pretty good lives from that.
Right.
Yeah. So, it's pretty interesting whenever you stop and think about that, how that works. But yeah.
So you said something and then you elaborated on it, but I don't want to pass over it. You said you would just start. If you were going to make $100,000, you would just start.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Well, you only got two options: start or do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, do nothing has got you where you at.
Mm.
Okay, so you got to start doing something. You just got to start. You got to start moving in the direction that you want to be. Mm. You might not have a dime to your name, but then go get a job.
Yeah.
I hear people say that, I can't find a job. Oh, you might not find the job that you want, but jobs are to be found.
Yeah. I
know this sounds rough, probably coming from somebody like myself, but dig ditches. Hey, I used to pick buckets of cucumbers for 25 cents a bucket. Yeah, I'm serious. All right, I used to tote cantaloupes in a big croaker sack across the field. I used to heap watermelons, from one end of the field to the other, throwing them in the back of a truck. That's not easy work, but it was work.
Yeah. And
it gave me some income. So, you just got to begin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say the one bad thing about the way our country is raising up people today is everybody thinks that, well, I think the mindset is people come out and they think, hey, I'm just out of school. I've got this piece of paper. I deserve to be at the top right now. That's not the way it works here. That's not the way it works. This country rewards those who work. And I mean, it works with ambition. And it will make you a slave if you take advantage of or fall prey to all of the glittering toys that it tells you to go put your money in. And then the next thing you know, you have to go to earn money to give it to somebody else who's becoming wealthy because of your foolish decisions. So, yeah, I mean, those are things that I would go back to. You ask, what would I like to do? Your mom's always said that I probably missed my calling. I should have been a teacher. And I see that, even though I hated school.
Really?
Yeah, I hated school.
No, I know that. I was really about you being a teacher.
Oh, yeah. Your mom's always said now, because, she sees how excited I get whenever I'm doing Bible studies and stuff like that. She sees that, but I have found that I do enjoy teaching. And it kind of goes back to the Roger Leon experience, because he taught me. And I do believe that, you should pass it on. And that's why I try to find and identify people that if I see that, hey, you know what, they're underachieving, then I like to kind of maybe speak in their life. Now, it's up to them to grab it. Mm-hmm. All right. And not all of them grab it. Some of them hear it, they listen to it, and they just, they make a non-decision. And they do nothing. But I can't do nothing about that. But for the ones who want to grab it and run with it, then yeah, I think they would be better for doing that. So yeah, I've found that I enjoy teaching. I literally could see me in another life being a college instructor.
No kidding.
Yeah. I don't think I could be high school instructors, because the craziness that goes on in high schools these days with the teachers union and what big government is requiring them to indoctrinate kids with. I wouldn't last long in a college environment. I mean, in a high school environment. In the college environment, with the stupid rules they got there, I could at least get some tenure. And if I've got tenure,
you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, I could do whatever I want, and they can't really fire me without fear of a lawsuit. And from there, I can get to try to do what Charlie Kirk was doing. But I could do it from the classroom instead of out in the yard. Mm. Yeah, so.
All right, so if you were going to teach in college, what do you think you'd teach?
It would be a cross between economics, history, political science.
Not finance, not the Bible, nothing.
No, economics.
Well,
would be finance.
Well,
yeah, but
it's kind of broad.
It is, but they all are intertwined in today's world, but you know me enough to know that in the economics and the political science, and the history, I would have Bible in there.
Yeah.
I mean, it would all be in there. It would be all intertwined. I'd fall into line. I'd either be the most popular instructor on campus, or I'd be the most despised.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, it's just, I wouldn't be in between. I would be a lightning rod.
That's fun. That's good. Okay. All right. So, 20 years old, mom. Mom probably doesn't have any clue who you are. Do you try to meet mom sooner and get married sooner, or wait until 25?
Oh, if I could have met your mom the day I was born, I would have locked her away, and nobody else would have ever met her, and then I would have followed her to the end of the earth. Day one.
Well, that's kind of sweet.
Well, it's the truth.
Yeah.
I tell people, I truly believe that the Lord brought your mom in my life to raise me. I believe that. He brought her to raise me.
What do you mean?
To make me grow up. Yeah, to make me who I am today. I truly believe that. I truly believe that. I had somebody the other night was giving me a compliment about how well the church is going, and he was giving me a compliment, and I'm always hesitant to take compliments into church because that's usually right before all hell breaks loose. But he gave me a compliment about how well the church is doing, and I told him, I said, well, I'm humbled to hear you say that, but my backbone is the one standing over there, and that's the one who drives me to do everything I'm doing. So, I got to give your mom the credit because that she's the one who owns it.
Good. Okay. All right. How old were y'all when y'all had Ethan? Or how old were you when y'all had Ethan?
I think 30.
Okay, 25, 30. All right. Knowing what you know about kids and grandkids, would you have had kids earlier? Would you have waited longer? Would you have had more kids?
I probably would not have had kids, but I'd have had grandkids. What else you want to know?
That's good. How many grandkids would you have had?
As many as could be popped out of air.
That's good. Okay.
No, I will say this. Again, I go back to your mom being who she is. Your mom, at the same time she was raising me, she was also raising me to be a father. So your mom was raising me. She was raising the two of you. I was trying to raise you too. But again, you and Ethan will never know how blessed you were and are to have your mama as your mama. You will never, ever, ever be able to fully appreciate that. I know because I've seen her. I've watched her our entire married life. I think I'm a heck of a dad if you just listen to me. But I said, I know that you had the best mom that's ever been placed on this earth for you and Ethan. I know that without a shadow of a doubt.
Oh, Scott, have you ever heard my dad be so sentimental?
Never.
That's good. Must be your old age.
It probably is. Probably is.
Okay. All right. So we have heard, knowing what you know now, if you had to start over, you would surround yourself with mentors and Rogers. You would just get started with investing. You probably still use the 401k. You'd have met Mama a lot sooner and kidnapped her and then married her, and you would have skipped me and Ethan, and you would have had a bunch of grandkids.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. That's good. So really and truthfully, everything, and you correct me if I didn't hear this correctly, but everything you have said has not really been anything technical or really overly financial. It's all been mindset and just intentional decisions on, who you surround yourself with.
Yeah. I think everything is mindset. You have to decide. The funny thing about this life that we're living is tomorrow's going to come regardless. We have to determine, are we going to take charge of tomorrow, or are we just going to let tomorrow blow us wherever it blows us?
Right.
And that's the difference between those who achieve their aspirations and those who do not. Mm-hmm. So, I could get technical about money, but the truth about money is the easiest way to make money and have your money working for you. I guess let's talk about that. Not making money like in income, but in investments. The easiest way to make money is to take advantage of your greatest ally, which is time.
Right.
And discipline, and to allow money to do what money does in the world of compounding. And if you just leave it alone, it would change every life that tries to do it. And I know that. I'm sitting here as an example of that. So I know that. So there's no need to get technical about that. I mean, it's been proven over and over and over again. There's no magic to it. I mean, surround yourself with good advisors, and listen to their advice, especially when their advice compared to what's going on in the world seems to not be, jiving with each other. Listen to their advice, follow it. Not every advisor is 100% correct all times, but they're more correct than you are if you're not in that field.
Sure.
So, you gotta develop some trust, and you gotta listen to them and follow them. So that's what I would say about that. I mean, you just want to make sure that you're listening to them and following them, but then at the same time, you want to also make sure that the people you are listening to are where you're wanting to be.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, if I'm broke, I'm not going to ask my broke buddy how to make money.
Yeah.
All right. If I'm completely unhealthy, I'm not going to ask the guy next to me who looks unhealthier than me, hey, how did we get healthy? I'm not going to ask those questions of that person. I'm going to find a person who seems to be where I'm wanting to get to.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm gonna make sure that person's in my circle.
Yeah, it's like in The Richest Man in Babylon, there's a part in there where the guy says advice is one thing that's freely given, but make sure you only take what's worth listening to. So yeah, no, that's good. There's a lot of advice and a lot of stuff that's going to be given, and you can listen to it, but only really take what's worth having. So cool. Well, all right. Well, I know this wasn't very financially savvy or heavy or anything like that. This was more just knowing what looking back. That's all the questions I had. Do you have any parting thoughts before we get off?
I don't know, since you and producer Scott threw this on me without any preparation.
We didn't give Dad any preparation. He walked in and we said, "This is what we're doing."
Yeah. So, producer Scott, do you have a question?
I don't think so. I think you really went through what we thought you needed.
Good.
That's amazing.
Good. Look at you. You're a natural.
Producer Scott has nothing to say, nothing to ask. That's a rarity. Okay. No, I guess the best thing I would say for folks who look back on their lives, cause there's another question that do you live your life with no regrets? I don't think there's a person alive today who can say that they have no regrets. If there's things that I could go back and change, I would change them. Decisions that were made, roads that were taken, words that were spoken, words that were not spoken. Yeah, I think we all will have that. And I would say to folks that what you want to do is you want to love your loved ones. You want to stand for what you stand for. You don't want to cower. Don't be a coward. Defend your family. Defend your right to bear arms. Yeah, I mean, this stupid tail government we got wants to take them from you. And oh, by the way, if you want to become a country that's no longer productive, give all your defenses to your government. That's what you do. And then you will be like some of those countries I just described, China, India, places like that. But no, just go back and just try to live your life in a way to where you have as few regrets as you possibly can. And if you can make amends with those who you have wronged, make amends. And if you can't, it wasn't meant to be anyway. So I guess that's what I would give you.
All right. Well, thank you. That was a lot. Okay. Well, with that, this has been another episode of the My Father Said podcast. I'm Ryan.
I'm Robert.
And we will see you guys next time.
1, 2, 3, come on!
The opinions voiced in this video are for general information only and are not specific advice or recommendations for any individual. All performance referenced is historical and is no guarantee of future results. All indices are unmanaged and may not be invested into directly. Economic forecasts set forth may not develop as predicted, and there can be no guarantee that strategies promoted will be successful. Securities offered through LPL Financial, number FINRA SIPC. Investment advice offered through Good Life Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. The Templeton Group and Good Life Advisors, LLC, are separate entities from LPL Financial.